Bring it down a notch. It's either all in or like.
If you want me to be less, then you need to stop nothing clogging the toilets and farting in bed. Like, you want to be less.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We're talking to you guys about Married at First Sight. We're dealing specifically with Lindsey and Mark and their discussion. And I've talked about how Lindsey was intentionally spiteful to Mark with the comments and the comments that she just made there and goes on to make during the course of the next few minutes. So, if you want to know a little bit more about the reason why she decided to be spiteful in this moment, let me break it down for you as we go on along with this review. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals, you got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. Let's get into the review, baby.
Let's stop that, okay? You want a little romance and you want it to be like slow? Like, I don't need to see that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you're giving me a full frontal you.
Now, you know, I want to just backpedal a little bit because what we just saw there is her kind of being a little bit mean and spiteful with the things she was saying. Why was she being mean and spiteful? Because the context of the conversation, he was letting her know, is there any way that we can like kind of tone it down a little bit, because there's certain behaviors that are a little bit, you know, some way, right? He was very polite about it, tried to beat around the mulberry bush to kind of let her know. And she did something really interesting in this particular part and scene. If we go back slightly, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about, right? Let's just go slightly back, okay? And I want you to watch body language here, okay? Really important. The body language is going to speak a lot about how this person is going to deal with this situation, okay? Let's have a look at what she's doing.
You can't like bring it down a notch. It's either all in or like.
If you want me to be less.
Pause, okay? Now, he said, can we not bring it down a notch? And she said, if you want me to be less, you're gonna have to stop being so with your frontal. When you lean in like that and then you lower your volume of voice, you are coming in with menace. Okay, that's strictly what we're talking about. She came in with menace and she came in to cut and to slice. Okay, and we're gonna discuss about some of the pre-existing issues that were there beforehand as to why this argument took place, which was less of an argument, more of a Lindsey dressing him down. But we'll discuss a little bit about this argument and why this happened. So let's just take it back a notch, because the same way we did with Michael and Jasmine, we're going to break it down. The moment this happened didn't just necessarily begin here, but we're going to deal with it. So I feel like she verbally came at Mark. I wouldn't say necessarily verbally abused, but I'll say verbally attacked Mark at this point, okay, because he stated he wanted to slow down. Okay, and I want to make it very, very clear. I don't agree with his statement about slowing it down. I think it was a very poor choice of words, and due to this poor choice of words, we're now in this food salad bowl trying to sort out the lettuce from the mangoes, and the mangoes from the tomatoes, and the tomatoes from the grapes. Like, we're having to now dissect because of his poor word choice. And it's because he's not assertive. He got shook in the moment and was scared about how to approach the situation, how to tell her to take it down a notch. He used incorrect terminology, incorrect phrasing, incorrect words, and thus this monster has been born. Now, I want to make it very clear. This monster was brewing, okay? Lindsey has been brewing. Okay, we've seen her do the exact same thing with the girls, with Katina. We've seen her do the exact same thing with Elijah Jean, sorry. We've done the exact same thing she's done on the plane, on the boat, on the bus. We've seen her do verbal tirade. But the most important thing is that her dad told him she can cut with her words. Those were his words. So that is a little bit of background, okay? But we'll go into that in a second when I talk about the pre-existing reason as to why this argument happened, okay? So the Lindsey's problem as to why she decided to go down this route of verbally attacking him was that he ruined a lovely romantic dinner date for them and he wanted to slow down. That was why she was hurt. And rightly so. You know, I actually understand why she was hurt. Right? I actually understand why she was hurt. We can have a little look of a clip of her talking about her being hurt and frustrated in this moment, right? Let's have a look.
Just no matter what.
I was just like frustrated and mad. Like, why would you plan a romantic dinner with me and then say, I want to pull back? Why?
Pause. She said it very plainly. Why put on a romantic dinner and then tell me you want to pull back? That's her problem. That's her reason for why she's fighting. And we're going to go deeper into the reasoning as to why she's behaving the way she is. But that's her that's her initial point as to why she's frustrated and hurt at the moment. Mark's initial reason is he didn't want to rush the process. He doesn't want to go too fast. Why? Because he feels like it's getting out of control. There are certain behaviors that she's exhibiting that will make him feel some type of way. And he feels like he wants to slow it down before it goes too fast and he can't control it, right?
And I just want us to go slow so that we build on this momentum of us together. So I want you to know that so you don't think he's not into me.
Now, again, the word and choice. It's all over the place for... this is gonna, you should know that this is gonna come out wrong. You should know that this is gonna come. I feel like people don't understand the impact of their words and how their words are going to create chaos. This is why the Bible says speak life and death, but you have to be very careful. You'll be freed by your words and you'll be judged by your words. Your words are going to create chaos, or they're going to create some order. And his words created chaos because he said, I want to slow down. After you already had sex, sir. So in this initial point, I want you to understand this. In this initial point, I am actually on Lindsey's side. On this initial point, I'm on Lindsey's side because no matter how much I agree with Mark and how he feels about her behavior, which I'm agreeing with him, but in this moment, you chose a dinner date, which is meant to be romantic, no heads up, and then you sprung a conversation of this nature where you're going to have to critique her at the dinner table. Sir, context, timing, decorum needed. And when we look at, I want to put this to anybody who's dating, who's married, who's in a relationship, you do not organize a dinner date and then spring it on the person. This should be made known to each individual party that this conversation is going to come up. Hey, I want to talk to you about the situation because I don't want to wait till at dinner. I don't want to wait till we're having a romantic session. I don't want to wait till we're having something intimate and then you spring that on me, because a person isn't ready for that kind of conversation. They have not mentally prepared themselves nor emotionally prepared themselves for that type of conversation. Please, if you're hearing me and you're watching my videos, take this into consideration. Do not organize a date which is meant to be romantic and then spring on one of these conversations where you're battering the person, or where you're and I say battering emotionally, talking about things that are a critique of them. It's going to be painful. They need to mentally prepare themselves, and you didn't give her that chance, so that's why she's in the situation. Thus, let's move forward to the pre-argument. I call it pre-argument fever before this moment, because this argument, again, did not start at this point. Again, the argument didn't start at this particular point. There were pre-existing factors that played into the argument. I want to discuss a few of them as well. Very first thing is this. Lindsey has been in a lot of bad relationships, and so has Mark. Earlier on in the episode, we hear Mark give us some of his explanations around some of the dating history that he's had. He explains to us about some of the past girlfriends he's been with and how some of the past girlfriends cheated on him. Now, every girlfriend that he spoke about, it seemed like he was getting beat up by his girlfriends emotionally. Let's just have a look, listen.
And I was like, wow, like that's horrible. I can't wrap my head around these situations and how guys could treat women that way.
So he was in a situation where he was getting treated, he was with a girl and the girl was getting treated badly and he was with her girl. Oh man, it was just long. Listen, you just go and watch the episode. The point I'm trying to make here is that he keeps end up in these really bad relationships. Now, actually, Lindsey even makes a good comment about this. We'll have a look, listen.
It sounds like you're a people pleaser and that you worry about everybody else except yourself sometimes.
Well,
Like, I know you take care of your grandma. and
yeah,
your
I think.
mom.
Now, this is really important because she's highlighted a really key thing. He's a people pleaser. And that is why at the very end, which we'll deal with probably in part 3 of this video, not part 2, part 3, where we talk about the later part of the argument they had in the house, where we see him struggling to really find the words to express when she's kind of going irate. It's part of the people pleasing, unable to find words to express how you truly feel, letting people get away with stuff, saying you got a big heart when really you just got bad boundaries, that kind of stuff. Okay, all right. So when they've both come from very bad relationships. Number 2, they've both have very similar stories in terms of parental figures and the influence of those parental figures in their life. Okay, mummy issues on both sides. That is going to have its own influences in how they interpret information and how they interpret scenarios. Part of that is a feeling of abandonment. Part of that is feeling of people can end up becoming very independent. Part of that people can't feel like they can't trust. Part of that people make poor decisions on taste on men, on women. This on both sides. We heard from her as well, talking about how she's always dated engineers, beforehand. She spoke a little bit about dating. I don't know if I can find a clip for that as well.
No. So tell me a little bit about your dating history.
Buckle up.
Buckle up?
We're going to take you on a roller coaster.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
have dated almost every engineer in the book.
And she goes on to say when she dated every engineer, that these engineers have been trash, and etc. etc. Now, I'm going to play it a little bit further, and you're going to listen to what he actually says after, because his response is really important about what we talk about self-esteem and how this plays a role oftentimes in people pleasers as well.
It seems.
Yeah.
My dad, after my last breakup, was like, can you stay away from the engineers?
Yeah.
You've gone through them all at this point.
I hope I can live up to these engineers.
Now, did you hear what he just said? She spoke about how, obviously, first of all, let me deal with her first. She's had bad relationships. They don't seem to work. She's not getting the best out of these relationships. Hey ho. Then we get his side where he goes, you actually watched him before, he's actually scratching his head and he goes, I hope I can live up to these engineers. Let me tell you something now. That's not a joke I'll be making. That's not a joke I'll be making. Listen, if I meet a girl, I'm listen, I'm the best you ever met. I'm the sauciest goon you ever met. I'm sorry. I don't compete and I don't compare to other people them. I'm in my own stratosphere, my own league. Now, that may seem arrogant for other people, but I'm just really confident in who I am and what I'm about. If you're meeting me and you like me and I like you, listen, I'm the best thing you ever had. Okay? I'm not about to say there's no one better than me. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when you meet me, I'm the best you ever had, baby. Okay? Now, what's really important about this is his joke is a self-deprecating one. The problem with self-deprecation is whether this has truth or not. And because we've heard from Lindsey, she correctly identified him being a people pleaser. That coupled with this joke lets me know self-esteem is not the highest on Mark's list right now. I'm saying he doesn't have especially a high self-esteem. That's why he finds himself in relationships where he's trying to save these women, because self-esteem is being built by validation when you're saving these women from drastic relationship issues, or this girl had bad relationship history and you're the nice guy. That's where you're getting your self-esteem and validation from. But when that doesn't exist anymore, your validation and your self-esteem goes right back down to the bottom again. Do you see what I'm saying? He needs to be needed. So unfortunately, this is also going to play into the relationship, right? Because it's a perfect storm. Lindsey is a perfect type of woman who has those issues, rough background, poor dating history. Oh, I can save her again, right? Validation, self-esteem, kicking right back in again until you realize it's too much. Now, self-esteem is to do with self-value, how you value yourself. I value myself highly, so and it's taking time to get to this place. Beforehand, I wouldn't have, but I value myself very highly. And so when I'm making jokes that are appreciating me, not deprecating me. Okay? Right? You can make a deprecating quote, like, you can once in a while, but the deprecation has to be opposite to you, so that somebody, I don't want to say someone can prop you up, but so the person doesn't think that it's actually true. So for instance, if I carry myself in a certain way, I think I'm a handsome dude. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm sexy. I'm sorry if you don't believe it. It's up to you. I think I'm a 10. I know Kevin Samuels won't agree, but I think I'm a 10 out here. You understand? But I know my level. Don't play it twisted. But if I'm like, kind of, you know, and I say to you, listen, you know, I'm kind of clapped. Now, depending on the way I kind of say it, and depending on what you know about me, and the way, and again, the energy, the tone of how I say it, you're gonna make a judgment about me. Like, did he? He thinks he's clapped. He might have self-esteem issues. But if I say it and I'm confident, I'm like, I think I might be a little bit medium ugly. You get me? But don't worry, listen, my medium ugly is different, cuz. Like, you see the way I've changed it? I've changed it on purpose because I'm self-deprecating still, but my energy is different. I'm not staying in that zone. I'm not, you know, I'm not allowing myself to be trodden on. And that's so important because people are making judgments all the time. And if you sound like you're beaten, they're going to think you're beaten and you're probably going to get beaten. Right? So I'm just making that point. I'm giving that remember I'm talking about pre-existing factors as to why this argument happens, okay? All right? Because remember, like, his energy right now in terms of being soft and being people-pleasing, Lindsey has an attitude problem. Let me just keep that again. So just going back over that, you know, when we're talking about obviously how the you know, saying that obviously there's several incidents have happened on a boat, several incidents happen within a relationship that's going to cause pressure on Mark, and obviously how he's perceived, and he's going to be thinking about how am I being perceived by my peers? Are they, you know, thinking wrongly about me? That's all going to come into his mind, and that's going to create pressure internally for the relationship from an external source. Then obviously he talks about having a big heart. Oftentimes big heart is really a signal for weak boundaries. People say, oh, I've got a massive heart. And sometimes really what you really mean is just you've got weak boundaries and you don't know how to assert yourself. So you just take a lot of crap. And then, you know, you know, he stated earlier on as well that he wants to get to know her underneath the humor. So he can see that the humor is a deflective tool at certain points and wants to go deeper. This is all going to contribute towards the argument. Added to that, looking at Lindsey's history and the fact that mum's situation, everything as well, what's going on, there's a protection piece here, which is when people don't feel protected and they tend to attack. Remember I said this on Michael and Jasmina's. When empathy is not engaged, then people revert to a self-protective mode and become judgmental. When she felt like Mark wasn't being empathetic and he had chosen the wrong time to talk about this issue, she immediately went into self-protective mode and she went into judgment, and her judgment wasn't defense, although it is a defensive move, but her defensive move was one of attack. The best defense is attack. So she went into attacking him, which is why I'm saying to you, the context of her saying, you clogged up the toilet, was to hurt him. She was to go low and make him feel the way she felt, but lower. Oh, I feel hurt in this moment and I feel frustrated. You're going to also feel hurt and frustrated. She's learned that behavior. That's a power grab move. That's a self-protection move. A power grab move in the sense of I feel like I've been robbed of my power because I feel hurt and I feel frustrated in this moment by your behavior. I now need to take back that power by insulting you and letting you feel the way that I feel, because no one's gonna make me feel like I used to feel. If that's for sure. No one's gonna make me feel how I used to feel. It won't be the case. So when she's saying what she's saying in those moments, she meant it. Let me go back to those moments again. Okay, let's go back to those moments and we'll get it back again. So, you know, she meant what she said when she was talking about, you know, him clogging up the toilet and da-da-da. Those are truths. Now, here's the issue behind that, right? Here's the issue behind that. The issue is that if this is what you're using now and we're 3 days in and you're already using things to try and hurt me with, what happens in 3 weeks? What happens in 3 months? What happens in 3 years? You're going to have a crap load of stuff to get at me, to nuke me, to cut me at the knees, to cut me at the throat. You're going to have so much stuff to be able to get at me. So this is a really bad sign. We're 3 days in and you're already destroying representative and showing us this. We could, you know what I'm saying? You got to hope that she's not going to continue this behavior. But the problem is, more than likely, this is going to continue because we've seen how she dealt with her peers as well. She's got a side of manipulation when she tried to pull the Karen card with Oliver Jean. She tried to pull Elijah Jean, sorry. She pulled a manipulation, tears, and I was scared and everything like that. That is a Karen behavior, which is so dangerous in 2021. In 2022, sorry. And she got told on After Party about her behavior. So, her behavior, I totally understand. Now, there's an aspect here which is, I want to go back slightly. Let's go back.
For me.
Hold on.
Me to hear you say.
Okay. I didn't get the right clip. I wanted to pay point this tip where she says, you know what? If you want to pull back, I can pull all the way back. If you want to pull back, I can pull all the way back. These are hurt responses, right? Listen to it again.
Like, oh, I want to take it slower when you're the first one who wanted to jump all in, you know? And like, okay, so are you in or are you out? I can slow back, but I pull way back. All the way back.
Actually, what she's really saying is, I'm very much hurt by what you've done. And you pulling back is scaring me and making me feel some type of way. And I feel like you're about to abandon me or jump ship. And that's what I've seen in the past. I've had really bad relationships. You're triggering me right now. Yeah, you're triggering me. And you're triggering the unloved version of me to react because I had to protect myself. And now my protection is, hey, if you want to pull back, I can pull all the way back. Just to let you know, I don't do no in-betweens. You're lying. It's not that you don't do in-betweens. What you want to do is you want to wrestle him into a position to say, hey, you got an ultimatum. Because that's essentially what she was saying. If you want to pull back, you can pull all the way back. But I understand why she did it. Because at the end of the day, him saying pull back is a miscommunication. It's not what he really means. Right? And how do you pull back after sex? It's kind of difficult to pull it back and scale it back. It's kind of difficult to do that without it looking like you're about to back all the way up. Because you married now. There's none of that. Well, let's be celibate or let's be abstaining. There's none of that. You ain't really got an excuse. Do you know what I'm saying? So, that's going to cause issues for her, you know. And again, later on, she ends up calling him stupid a few times as well. And I was just like, yo, baby, you need to park this. You need to park this behavior. And again, her behavior is stemming from a lack of protection as a young child, having to defend oneself. Immediately when he began to pull away, she reminded of those particular times, and to protect herself, she attacked. To protect herself from feeling these feelings of abandonment, feeling the feelings of rejection, feeling the feelings of that fact that someone has control to leave her at any moment again, to protect him, it's rather, you know what, I'll cuss you. At least if you go after I've cussed you, I did it. Yeah, I did it. Not that you disliked me, not that you rejected me. No, I cussed you out so you had to leave. That's a validation point. It's like, oh, I feel better about myself because actually I'm the one that sent him packing. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when we do a part 3 and we talk about, or part 2, sorry, when we talk about the second part of the argument where they go into the house, you'll realize when he's leaving, she says, "Oh, yeah, you can go now, bruh. I was already leaving, so why do you need to say that?" And the reason why she said that is simply because she wanted to wrestle back power. But let's leave it there. We'll talk about part 2 and go a little bit deeper. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. And for those of you returnees, comment down below. Let us know your thoughts as well. We appreciate you guys. Stay